After an 8,000 mile trip from Miami to Alaska and back to Provo, Utah, we'd like to share with you our pros and cons about the Solis 59 PK.
We'll see you all later. Okay, jump in. Off to Alaska.
Hello, my name is Jeff Wells, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk to you a little bit about the pros and cons of the 2025 Winnebago Solis. This is the 59 PK model that has the pop-up canopy. First of all, I'd like to start out by saying that I love this unit, and I'm glad that I bought it. We just finished an 8,000 mile trip from Miami, where I purchased the unit, and drove it through the United States and made our way up to Canada and back. So about 8,000 miles. So we have quite a bit of experience in this van. And for further reference, I purchased a 2019 Pleasure Way. Love that unit. Drove that for a couple of years, sold it. I did a review on that one. Then I bought a 2022 Winnebago View, the 24D model, and enjoyed that for a couple of years, and sold both of those right at and during the COVID crisis. Put about 10,000 miles on each of those units as well, and I'll put another 2,000 or 3,000 on this one before I sell it. I like to get in and out of the vans that way, but I think I have some experience in terms of how to use it for certain trips and what the features are that are benefits to me. So the purpose here is to talk to you about the pros and cons of this particular unit. Now, you'll be able to go to a lot of different other sites from dealers that will talk to you about the features of the 2025 Solis on the Ram ProMaster 3500 chassis. I love the chassis. It's as good, if not better, I think, than the Mercedes chassis that I had on both the Pleasure Way and the Winnebago View. This is not a lithium model, and I'll talk to you a little bit about why that wasn't important to me and why it works just fine for the type of usage that I at least want to give it. So I'm going to turn the camera around and basically just kind of walk through things, give you ideas, and hopefully it'll be helpful. Now, as a secondary note, we have hours and hours of video and experiences, etc., of our trip from Miami across the United States up to Alaska and back down to our home in Provo, Utah. We're putting that together, but that'll be a much longer segment, and I think of interest to people. I always had a bucket list wish to take the Alpine Highway, and now that we've taken it, where we've driven it, we're planning on going back and making a 6-month sojourn out of it again. So anyway, let me end this particular portion, and then I will talk to you about the overall experience itself. Starting with the appearance itself, I love the white color. We had this van, we had ceramics put on it to keep it clean and neat, and it's taken this whole trip without any wear at all on the front, even up in Alaska, which is amazing to us. We had no windshield impacts. We really liked the feature that these windows are controlled inside and come in and out, which is pretty nice. However, there were a couple times where it did not work exactly as we thought it would be working at that particular time. This running board is really functional. It helps getting in and out, especially if your wife is little. We like these windows because they slide in and out, and you don't have to worry about driving off with them open or somehow clipping them. These new exterior outside lights have been very, very good for us as well. Because this is a 21-foot model, we had an extended cargo carrier back here that you had to pay attention to. If you go up a steep incline, that cargo carrier could possibly drag. Our suggestion, we have something called a Gear Space 35, which is phenomenal. It carries a lot of stuff. I had golf clubs, fly fishing gear in it. I had some tools. I had a little outside barbecue grill. It worked just fine in there and kept all that heavy, dirty, clunky stuff out of the van, which meant that I could keep the van interior as clean and unscathed as possible. So this exterior light out here was helpful a couple times when I was changing the dirty water, etc. I really like the wheels that came with the unit, and just this front end design is really a nice upscale version. Now you notice I don't have a cell booster because we never needed it. All across the United States and even into Canada, we had decent cell phone service, believe it or not, when we thought we should have it. And I inside, I'll show you where I affix a GPS unit to my windshield, so we have that for emergency purposes as well. I loved this aspect of this van is you've got this garage area here that allows you to carry a ton of things. We have our lawn chairs here. I put rain gear here that's easy to get to. And in these two compartments here, one of the compartments I had with a lot of my immediate fly fishing gear stuff, as well as fun tools. We like playing pickleball. And then on this side, I have all of my RV. If I can raise it, it's pretty heavy duty because it's floor. There we go. So I've got all of the gear in there that I need, the cables, etc., so I can get to it pretty easy. They sell the feature of being able to hook up here with your shower devices and use these rods here to attach both of those rods there, so you can put a curtain outside here. And another great feature, which was very helpful to us, is these doors open fully wide. Now that's been nice for us because what we did, I'll talk to you about it a little bit later on, but we put the table down here in a chair, and we could sit there using the back table along with the chair and keep this open so that if we pulled up to a beautiful spot that had lakes or rivers, we could sit there and work and work in the outdoors, which we did quite often. This mosquito type netting works phenomenally. We used it 3 or 4 different times when we got into some bad mosquito areas, but it allowed us to continue to be in the outdoors even with those mosquitoes around bugging us. So that was kind of cool. One bad feature about this unit, and it's been talked about a lot, so it won't be new news to most people, is this shore water inlet valve can only be used when you have the doors open, which is crazy. So if you want to be hooked up full time and use the shore water pressure, then it is difficult to do because you have to keep the doors open. We've seen some people have taken the small holes, drilled a hole right here, and then dropped it down underneath so they could hook there, but it's just as a weird function. I don't think it would be much for Winnebago to have changed that, but for some reason they've had that there for a couple of years without thinking about changing it. And from this angle, I think I can show you pretty well. These cool drop-down cages are very inexpensive. I think $30 a piece, but they are so nifty to have when you're on the road. You can put your cell phones here. They've got a little spot back here where you put your cable. You can charge your phone if your head on the bed is up here or down here. Both of you have a chance to store your personal items there. I used to put my iPad, lay it right there, and watch my iPad laying in bed through that little netting. It didn't bother me a bit and was very functional. The unit's attachment areas are real easy to get to. It make a lot of sense. The other thing that I did was I had a very light board that I put up here on this end that was all the way up to the top there, that allowed me to store things that would have fallen into the interior. So that meant that I could store more stuff without it encroaching on the interior. Okay, the Getting into the van is easy. This bug and breeze screen worked phenomenally. Kept the bugs out. It was easy to get in and out of this magnetic holding right here when we were using it. I love this feature of this refrigerator being able to be accessed from the outside without having to get inside. We were constantly opening this to get pop or a cold sandwich or something out of the refrigerator. It locks really nicely here. However, this latch is kind of funky. It's not, I don't think it's going to last long term. It would be easy to replace, but it does not function properly. Sometimes it won't close all the way and you'll have the refrigerator door somewhat open if you don't pay attention or if you don't latch this at this particular point. Love the cockpit area. I'll talk to you about the console here in just a minute, but these seats are very nice. We bought this unit because it can sleep 4 people comfortably. You can bring 4 people. That was the key deciding factor for us to be able to have that flexibility. These seats are comfortable. If it's an 8-10 hour day, they might not be because they don't recline, but getting around with the proper seat belt equipment is certainly is possible. So not in order of importance, just a couple things. One is we have these seat back backpack arrangements here. This particular item came from Amazon. You get 2 of them for $34 and very functional for carrying maps, pops, little things, brushes. I've got some of my audio-visual stuff in here, but easy to do and put in. And the second one that we got in the kit, we put upstairs in the pop-up canopy area for those that are up in the pop-up canopy area to keep their things for night, their cell phone, reading materials, maybe some toiletries or whatever if they wanted them at that point. Now they've come out with a new ladder, which it's a combined ladder, so you don't have to connect it. You just have to snap it when you unfold it, and that is great. And we keep our nighttime protection shields up there versus where they had them in the back there. They sometimes want to come out, so what I do is I just stuff a sock in there and it keeps them tight, and they've never come out since then. Some other feature that I'll mention while I'm standing here, you see I have this cheap fan that runs very quietly, but I connect it here, so when it's more than 80 or 90 degrees up on top there, it can get pretty hot when you want to sleep. So I have this fan here that I've attached, and with the air conditioner going on down here, and I turn this fan on here, it grabs that cold air and pushes it straight up into this opening up in here and cools off that area adequate enough to sleep comfortably, because most people will have their heads up front here. So I think this was $15, but boy, it does a good job of pulling that air conditioning through the unit and then putting it up on top there when you're driving around during hot days. But that pop-up canopy was phenomenal in cold weather with a just nice sleeping bag. It was really easy to be able to use. And the air conditioning unit in this thing, we rarely had it above low cool. We never would put it on high cool because it would just push you out of the unit. We found this area here was a good place for us to keep our arms with us. Okay, let me show you how we get into the pop-up canopy area here. They have 2 seatbelt latches that you unhook, and those drop down, and then they have 2 clamps on both sides, and you pop those. And you can see how quick this is. We never had problems with any of this at any time, and it pops up easy. And voila, it almost self-inflates. And then you've got a control light over here that turns it up, and if you raise that up there, you'll see there's plenty of room for 2 people to be able to sleep. And you access it by this ladder that we have over here on this side, which is really sturdy. It's not tinny at all. I think a person that was a little uneasy about climbing a ladder wouldn't have any problems with it. They have two big windows that you can drop down so that you can see out at night through the mosquito screen, but also what I found was fantastic was it let the breeze go through, so that even if it was hot, you had a gentle breeze going through there. And as I mentioned earlier, see this back seat pocket area? I got two of those on Amazon for 35 bucks, and it holds a ton of stuff. But I have one behind this particular seat, and another one that when we park, we just hang there, and the two people that are up here, if you wanted to have two people, can have all of their personal items and things there at that at their reach. So now I will go to the cockpit and talk to you about some of the features there that I liked. All right, now let me show you how easy it is to take down. You have these two cables. And basically, if you're short, you can still grab them, and you just pull them both down equally at the same time. And it pops that unit all the way down. And you want to make sure that these are extended out fully, and then you can just basically roll them up and tuck them in. And then you take your seat belt here and connect that, and that's what holds these units, along with the clamps that you have on both sides here. Push up on that, pull that over here, pull that tight, and it locks it. Same thing here, same thing on this side here. So very, very easy to handle. You should let it air out if it's rained. But these just kind of tuck out of the way and are never in the way. Anyway, a nice feature about this pop-up canopy is that it's very, very large when you are inside. Two people can meander around and sit up if they want to, play games. They can also look down into the cockpit area there if you're talking to other people. So it's also got a high enough profile that if you park the van correctly, it actually casts a nice shade here to be able to sit. So you don't need an awning, because these don't come with awnings. Okay, now continuing the tour in back here. The bathroom was very nice, functional, as best as you can expect in a small unit like this. We would keep our sleeping gear in it. We rarely use the bathroom itself, but just a couple things. This little cubby area does hold a roll of toilet paper along with the shower mat in there without any problem. It's nice having that mirror. That was used quite often during our trip. Again, to show you what these drop down little cabinets do for us to give us extra space and everything. And it's funny, those drop down cabinets come with this nice rubber mat, which we've used to our advantage. This little table is so cool, but when I got it, it had a manufacturing defect in that this table. The manufacturing defect is this tabletop here caused this to pop out. So they sent me a second one, which we used to our benefit. We would end up having two tables back here, which allowed us to put more things on it, open up those doors, and have good, quick, easy access to the outdoor views that we would have as we were on our trip. I've already told you the air conditioner is phenomenal. Would have no complaints about that at all. We rarely use this stovetop. We found that we're air fryers, and we cooked almost everything we wanted to cook heat-wise in this Kmart $27 air fryer. I mean, it was really neat, and it fits perfectly in this upper cabinet without any issues. Now let's talk about the cockpit a little bit. Like I said earlier, I've had two Mercedes-Benz chassis, and this is every bit as good as the Mercedes-Benz models. First, though, talking about the floor, we have WeatherTech floor protectors I've taken out because I wanted to show you a few things here. I really don't like this cover that they have here. It's a softie, and you step on it and it depresses all the time. When I've got the WeatherTech mats on them, it doesn't have that problem. The cell phone charger there works, but just beware if you have any type of a cell phone cover, it doesn't work very well at all. So I attached my GPS unit right up here. That's what this obnoxious cable is, but it helped us when we were in Canada to know where we were and know that we could transmit if we had some kind of an emergency where we need to send an email or text to somebody. It's really weird. I don't know why this a van of this caliber would not have a vanity mirror. We've been meaning to buy one for a long time and just always forget. This particular model came with leather seats, which we loved. They're very, very comfortable, heated leather seats. And the one thing about the unit itself is Ram has something called Uconnect. If you buy a new unit, don't leave until they set you up on Uconnect. Don't try and do it on your own. I'm somewhat technical, but man, it was a hassle getting everything to work and making all the choices. Make sure that when you do your walkthrough or your salesperson or someone sets that up for you. It'll make your life a whole lot easier as you drive off. The van handled very, very well on the roads up through Canada. The roads going up there now are much, much better than they were even 4 or 5 years ago. So I wouldn't hesitate to go again. Again, we're going to do an overall video. Probably it'll have to last at least an hour because there's just so many things that we did all the way from Miami up to Alaska and back to Provo, Utah. It'd be fun to share that with you, but hopefully this is somewhat helpful. Again, it's a great Class B unit. We had very, very few manufacturing defects that we had to worry about. The unit handled well. If I have one complaint that is what I would call significant on my part, is I was told that I would get 18 to 22 miles per gallon on average. And after almost 8,000 miles under different driving conditions, and I'm not an aggressive driver, and I'm not a light driver, I'm just average. But the best I could get out of this unit was 15.1 miles per gallon. Now, fortunately, now gas is a little bit less expensive than it was a couple years ago, but still did not give me the gas mileage that I was told I would get or that I hoped that I would get. And hopefully that will help you in your decisions as you go about analyzing the Winnebago Solis. Again, this is the 2025 model, and quite a nice little unit. And I'll share one last thing with you. Heck, why not? When we were traveling, we used something called a Goal Zero, which is this unit right here, which gives off 110 voltage, so that we didn't have to worry about the anything being attached in the unit itself. This would power up anything that we would have back there except for the air conditioner. So we never needed to use or worry about having lithium batteries, because when we needed the air conditioner, the generator was more than enough, and we were always driving between 2 or 3 days that would charge the batteries and give us enough electricity that we needed. So anyway, thanks for coming along, and if you decide to go with the Solis, let us know. Let us know if we can answer any questions, and hope you enjoy your unit. Reminds me of an Arizona Highways magazine cover from many years ago. Beautiful drive through this part of northern New Mexico. I'm glad I got up so I could see the sunrise and take all this in. Absolutely beautiful. On my way to Moab, Utah today, about 6 hours away. Stay tuned for our next video, which will talk to you about our entire trip to Alaska from Miami.